Hello, welcome back to Down the Slope. I'm Ewan. I'm joined by Harry, Ryan, and Greg. We're looking ahead to Hibs going back to Easter Road on Saturday as we host Dundee United and on the back of a 3-2 win away at Motherwell. Greg, how you doing, my man?
Not bad, mate. Yeah.
I'm good. I'm good. Harry, back down in London after the game yesterday. Happy to be home, or
Well, mate, you get in the rules. Happy Hibs is happy Harry, so we're feeling good after yesterday, mate. And the train wasn't ideal, but at least it wasn't after a defeat, which I was kind of expecting yesterday. So happy Harry.
Ryan, a much better experience on yesterday compared to last Monday for sure, right?
Absolutely, man. Makes
That's
the week
just
more
true, isn't
bearable.
he? Sitting beside you, Ewan.
Oh, he was sitting beside me, you clown.
Well, rather,
He
yeah.
was sitting beside me then. That
Right, so what we're going to do, we're going to, just like last week, it seemed to go down pretty well. We're going to get straight to listener questions this week. Yeah, we posed it, obviously, Motherwell, Dundee United, and sort of transfer window. We're obviously, 9 days into the window now, and not really too much happening in terms of incomings or really outgoings as of yet. Bojang's obviously moved on, though, Harry, and let's maybe just touch on this first, because I don't think we've had any questions in on it. This Bojang situation, obviously we don't want to speculate or anything like that, but what do you make of the whole saga?
Hang on with me. First and foremost, football clubs have got a responsibility to take care of their players. I think that's valid. But for me, it seems like someone who's thought he was going to light the world up and he's come over and he's not done very well. A lot of it's very feeling sorry for himself. And some of the claims are just misfounded or stupid. I don't think he understands how this tax system works in Scotland. Hibs aren't capable of adding funny taxes to his contract. And then contracts on terms of loans isn't something that Hibs can shift the goalposts on. And then I lived as a student and I've got mates who are students and they've lived in a lot worse places than Bojang was living in. Calling that a prison cell is just embarrassing on his part.
I was say, Harry, I was in your flat in Stirling and it was
like, come on. I've got no ill will towards Bojang. Things didn't work out. He's not, in my opinion, good enough to play in Scottish football. But yeah, just don't cry like that afterwards. It was a bit embarrassing, and that's been my take on it.
Yeah, there's obviously a lot of different sort of rumours circling and stuff, Greg, but obviously, like you say, if we don't know what's happening, we can't really comment on it, but it's a bit of a strange one, in it, just to come out like that. Potentially, maybe some things lost in translation as well.
I think he's bitter that it's not worked out and he's away home. Back to his parent club. I mean, the taxi situation's a disgrace. He lives about 10 minutes away from the training centre. Just walk. I know he made a comment about being pissed off that there was no transport to training. I mean, you're a grown adult. You can walk 5-10 minutes to your work. It's not difficult. I mean, he's obviously come over here with an attitude that he should be treated like a king. And to be honest, it's a very football club. People need to muck in and work hard. He didn't really seem like he wanted to know. He obviously said that the manager shouted at him. What's he want to do? Like, I come here for an easy ride? I don't know. I mean, managers shout at players
you must
all the
enjoy
time.
knowing that the manager's putting his foot down with the players as well. Maybe something that we didn't find Johnson was maybe doing as much.
Absolutely. I mean, the manager's there to manage ultimately, and if he's not doing it, he's going to raise his voice. It's like, this is professional football at the highest level in the country. I don't know what he's expecting, but
yeah.
Anyway, I mean, the flat that he had it really didn't look that bad, and the club's not going to fully furnish it with 70-inch TVs and that. So what I mean, it's like.
Yeah,
fucking
let me say,
baffling, but
we don't know exactly what happened, and it might come out that maybe the club has absolutely done something wrong, and I'm sure we will hold our hands up if we've said anything there that doesn't prove to be the case. But on the outside looking in, that certainly appears to be. Right.
Just before we move on, I just want to give a big shout out to the guy that was wearing a cabbage top with Bojang 17 on the back. that was one of the highlights of yesterday. Jesus, mate, come on.
Right, Ryan. we've not had any incomings, as she like, in January so far. But first question from Elaine Lumsden, right before we started recording. 3 of our young players returning from loans at Edinburgh. Do any of them make our first team squad for the rest of the season? So that's Emmanuel Johnson, Alan Delphier, and Jack Bryden.
I mean, Jack Bryden's a centre half, so if he was kind of kept in and around the squad to be cover as opposed to Will Fish, Delphier's a bit of a funny one because he doesn't really have a set position. He's quite versatile, so I don't know if there may be 2 that would be kept there or thereabouts the first team squad for cover for injuries. But as for breaking into the first team, I don't see it from any of them. Emmanuel Johnson could possibly be put back out on loan, or his contract might run down. He just doesn't look to be good enough to break in.
It's an interesting one. Obviously, we've seen João Balde, is that right? Move from East Fife and then to Arbroath. So I noticed on the wee sort of press release that Hibs done, it did say they're going to be joining up with the development team full time for the rest of the season. So I don't get the impression, Harry, that these are going to be, potentially going back out on loan this month.
Yeah, no, it's being honest, I've not really followed their development since going to Edinburgh City. I know there's high hopes for Jack Bryden, so I wouldn't be surprised if he kind of had like a cameo towards the end of the season. Like if we finished bottom 6, I'm always a fan of throwing throwing youngsters in. But yeah, I don't think, as Ryan said, that either of them are going to make like permanent fixtures for the end of the season.
Right. Sticking with the transfer side of things just now, Greg. Bob Stewart, when will we see some sign of transfer movement at Easter Road? Other clubs around us are moving at pace. We can't stand still after yesterday's win. We need to get in there. We got there in the end, but the result could have easily gone the other way. I never felt like Motherwell were going to win the game. I don't know about you, but transfer-wise, Greg, would you like to see something start ticking along? Are you surprised that there's not really been anything yet?
I would like to see something start ticking along 9 days ago, if I'm honest. The only danger is that we get to the end of the month and start panic buying. We've seen that before. I'm hoping that the club's taking their time and picking out specific targets that would add to the squad. Otherwise, it's really no use. But obviously, all the chat around the director of football coming in possibly as well. I don't know if that's holding things up, but I would like to see something happen this week, possibly starting next week at the very latest, if I'm honest.
Harry, you obviously didn't join us last week, but I think we referenced a tweet that you had made. Are you surprised that there hasn't been more incomings or outgoings, I guess?
But yeah, just from my perspective, you've got a recruitment team. Like, why does it need to have a window open for you to talk to other clubs about their players? Like, I'm not trying to insinuate we should be tapping up players. I mean, speak to clubs being like, we're interested in this player. What's it going to take to make it happen come January? Like, opening negotiations from January 1st makes no sense to me. Lee Johnson's been banging the drum since well before the World Cup started, saying this squad's not good enough. So come January, the squad should be chopped and changed. Like, I'm not like, people are like, we need to have 4 like first team caliber players in January. It's not going to happen, but we need to see movement. Like, there's no reason why we shouldn't have had at least like one solid player coming in January 1st able to play. Like, from my perspective, it's stupid and it's lazy. Like, as I say, I don't know the ins and outs of working at a football club, but it's something that's always confused me. I just don't understand why movement hasn't started yet. And Bojang was always going to leave, so why didn't we get rid first day? Like, fans need to see some form of action from the club, especially after a couple of the results that we've seen of late.
Yeah, right. And sticking with transfers this time, maybe more outgoing. Few people are asking about Ryan Porteous. Mason Forrest, is it better to get rid of Porteous now and get a little fee for him, or are we better keeping him and trying to push for Europe to acquire more money through cup competitions and competing better in the league to try and push above Aberdeen and St Mirren for 4th? And then that's where it ended with it, but ultimately Hearts for 3rd place as well. I guess maybe a better way, what would be the magic number maybe for you to think, yeah, we should be looking to accept that this window?
See, it's a difficult one to put a number on it because it depends on what other clubs value him at, given that he's only got 6 months left in his contract. I mean, I don't know, would 300,000, 250 be too much for a club to pay for him? I don't know if that would greatly benefit us in terms of sporting success from now until the end of the season. He showed yesterday that he made a bit of a difference, especially with 2 of the goals. So quite torn on it. I'd be inclined to keep him because he's.
I mean, what are you talking position wise in the league? Is it about 150,000, I believe, per position?
Yeah, it's quite a sizable fee. Like, so I would consider at this point, if it's not going to be a fee that's worthy of a couple of places in the league, then you're as well just keeping him.
Yeah, Greg, you were quite vocal in the summer transfer window about, why would you move him on for a small fee? Still have the same opinion. Sort of Robson has asked the same questions. Do we sell if the money's right or keep him until the summer and get nothing for him?
Yeah, I'll hold my hands up and say we should have got rid about a month ago when it looked like his feet wasn't in it, but you can clearly see that he is bothered. I don't know what's happened since, but for me, I would rather let him go for nothing and keep him to the end of the season than let him go halfway through the season, because a player like Pochus who doesn't come around that often, especially someone who cares so much for the club. You can see his passion for the club, and who would we replace him with is my biggest concern as well.
Yeah, I think
I'd rather have a longer period of time to replace him than a January window. So for me, he's got. For me, I'd be asking him to stay until the summer. In the summer, like, you can say your goodbyes or whatever, but until then, I would like to keep him and see him at the club and see him turning these sort of performances week in, week out.
Yeah. I think there's a few things in it for me. Like, if I think regardless of fee, if we are to accept, well, look, as we're recording, I don't even think there's been a bid made. So, we're all assuming that something's going to come in. But I think it's important that if we are to accept something, it needs to be done fairly early in the window. We can't be accepting bids on the 30th of January. We've given ourselves 24, 48 hours to try and replace him, because, even if you do get a fee in that you would say is acceptable at that point, you're then trying to flip it quickly. And I think we've actually got a game on the 31st as well. I think when away to Ross County, it's been moved from the 1st. It might be moved from the 2nd to the 1st, but I think it's been the 1st to the 31st. And so I think it's important that if he does move on, it needs to happen, Harry, fairly early in this window, probably before the derby. If it was
I would like to think that irrespective, they've got his replacement, like at least ideas of a replacement lined up. Like we've known for months that he's leaving, so it shouldn't be a 48-hour scramble at the end of the window if it is 2 days to go. There should be someone lined up to come in, regardless of whether he stays or goes. Like, I don't know the financial situation, but I'd like to think that we've got it budgeted that we can replace him as soon as he goes. The thing for me in terms of the bid, I would take a small fee if it meant that we got a sell-on clause. Like I think Porteous, like we've seen the development of a few players going to Italy from the Scottish game. I think Porteous would thrive if he went to, like, Udinese is one that's been rumoured most heavily. I think he'd thrive if he went there. If he somehow even got like a 15% sell-on somehow, I would absolutely love that.
I think as well, like, do you think, in a sense, for the player, a pre-contract could probably be more lucrative than a moving now? There's no signing on fee, etc. So, if I'm a player, if I'm moving for free, I'm wanting my agent maybe to negotiate a higher sell-on fee, not sell-on fee, signing on fee, and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes on.
I guess the alternative is that we take a fee for him now and get him back on loan to the summer, and then a sell on as well. But that's probably the ideal scenario, if I'm honest.
But is that going to happen?
A sell on and get him back on loan. But
if you're the buying club in that scenario, why would you just say, "Oh, we'll just sign on a pre-contract"?
Then I know about it. It's just, it depends.
The only reason anybody buys them just now is if they want to make sure they get them above competition, in my opinion. So, like, if the likes of a Watford or whatever feel they've got a strong enough squad, but they want Porteous as a project for the future, then it makes sense they put a bit in.
Yeah. Right. Let's move on to a few other players that excelled yesterday. Porteous was very impressive yesterday. We've had a question coming from Jaden. If McGeady keeps up these performances and doesn't get injured, would you extend his contract? Clearly still has the quality. If he's performing at that level that he was yesterday, absolutely tortured Paul McGinn in the first half yesterday. Look, it's one game, but if he performs at that level or close to the rest of the season, surely it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I think I would torture Paul McGinn if I'm honest, but you can only beat who's in front of you. It's not just the way he plays, it's the way he goes about his business, the technique he's got, the vision, he's got it all. And regardless of age, I know a lot's been made of it, but for me, that performance is priceless. It's someone,
as well.
we we've actually been looking for someone to come in and affect the games that we've been playing without Boyle, and he done that yesterday. You know, he got an assist, and I thought it was very impressive from
Do
what
you
I've
think
seen anyway.
moving forward, Ryan, if McGeady can stay fit, him being on the one wing might then bring on Yuan on the other side even more. Since Boyle went out, he's ultimately been our only real threat from the wide areas because we've seen Kyle McGuinness line up on the right hand side of midfield, and Harry's been very vocal about how we're wasting him out there. Do you think having the two out and out wingers could ultimately benefit the pair of them?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe when you've got like a double pronged attack or two good wingers, it gives you great balance and threat on either side. So there's never a predictability about your partner play or where the danger's going to come from. And we kind of seen that yesterday. Although McGeady was the one that kind of stood out, Yuan made a fair contribution with an assist and various other bits of play. But for me going forward, what I'd love to see McGeady do is just obviously stay fit and perform at that level consistently, because he's more than capable of it. He's a great outball. Like, he can take us so far up the pitch just with dribbles or beating a man. Very, very important for where we are at the minute in terms of creativity and ball retention. I thought he was superb at getting the team up the pitch in times, in which it was important, like in counter attacks.
Harry, we're 20 minutes in and we've not spoken about a player that scored a hat trick. We've had a few comments in about Kevin Nisbet, LG and Crow, Kevin Nisbet, or Kevin Nisbet. Kevin Wilson's second part of his question, I'll come back to the first part in a bit. Statement, not a question. Kevin Nisbet needs an extended and highly improved contract immediately. And someone else has said something along those lines as well, I'm sure, around how Fortress is likely to move on for a nominal fee. We need to make sure not to make the same mistake. I just find the question. Kevin Nisbet, contract situation.
The big contract we supposedly offered Ryan Porteous, put that on the table for Kevin Nisbet, make it a 5-year deal. There's no reason we shouldn't be paying him as one of our highest, if not our highest paid player. People like to get on his back before he got injured. He was playing in one of the worst, like, attacking wise Hibs teams we've seen in the 21st century. And a good team, that boy will score goals. He's scored 5 goals in 5 games since coming back. He has been brilliant for Hibs, and there's no reason we shouldn't treat him as such. Ryan Porteous has been brilliant for Hibs, and we're going to probably lose him for a free. I wouldn't take the risk with Kevin Nisbet. I know he's just back from a long-term injury, but for me, he needs to stay at the club moving forward. The whole team should be built around players like that. If we can keep him and Kyle McGuinness fit, I think that we're on for a very good core to the team.
Greg, does the injury worry you at all in terms of offering them a long-term deal?
No, absolutely not. I think players get injured. That's how they come back from it. He scored 5 and 5. You can't really ask for much more. That third goal just epitomises him yesterday. You know, the movement into space and then the finish. And he's a top player. And he probably should be one of the highest earners at the football club. Like Harry's right, the service wasn't there for him previously, but now you've got Yuan, McGeady, Boyle when he's back or whatever. So you've got options there, and like Josh Campbell set him up. You've got players from midfield contributing now, so you've got plenty of service there, and as long as he continues to score, then clubs will play swarm. We need to make sure that we don't have another situation.
Don't want to be in the exact same position in a year, do we? And
exactly,
it probably is. Again, we're not privy to any of this, but we signed him from Dunfermline as unproven at this level. So, I can't imagine he's one of the higher earners in the team. And it probably is right that he would be getting a new deal. Again, had he not been injured, probably would have already had one, but we do not want to be sitting in the summer in the same position that we were last summer, and then this time next year in an even worse position. Right, so again, Graham, I'm going to come straight back to you on this one because you were very vocal about this in the last after the few games before Motherwell. Was Lee Johnson's tactical shift and subs ahead of the third goal genius or luck?
Luck. It is though. He's brought on defenders.
I find the point being that he's moved Porteous into midfield, he's won the ball back, he's got Campbell back up the pitch, he's played the ball in. You know, he's proactive yesterday. You could at 2-1 up.
A change.
He's made changes. I think what I enjoyed almost the most was that we went back to a formation that at the start of the season we were playing pretty well in, and we see the rewards of it. But I find it difficult to think that we can sit and criticise him when he doesn't make changes, and then when he does, and it almost immediately pays off. With two of the players that the subs have meant he's moved position directly impact the goal.
Yeah,
In my opinion,
probably been a bit harsh, but yeah, look, we've said it before where we've been shouting at him to change it, and we probably did need to change it at that point yesterday, because you could just sort of sense the tide was turning a wee bit. So fair play to him. He's done his job. He's brought the subs on. They have made a difference, and we go 3-1 up. Unfortunately, two of the subs we brought on were culpable for Motherwell's second, though. So if you want to look at it like that as well.
Just to chime in on the subs thing, being honest, they made those subs far too late. I was screaming from about the 60th minute because we were getting absolutely battered non-stop. And like fair play, and we made the changes and it resulted in us ending up winning the game. But if we didn't win yesterday, it would have single-handedly been down to him not changing that, because they should have scored at least 3 times in the 10-minute period before he made those subs.
Right.
Like, as I say, fair enough for making the subs, and it paid off in the end. But I'm not clapping a boy for making subs late. He got lucky. That's it.
Okay. Ryan, do you want to add anything in on there? Maybe got any credit for Lee Johnson there?
I think if we're going to criticise when he doesn't get things right, I think it's only fair that we praise him. Maybe they could have been done a wee bit earlier, but the fact that he was brave enough to put Stevenson in over at right back and with Porto in midfield when he did, fair enough. The only thing I would say is Ewan Henderson looks a shell of a player right now, an absolute shell of a player. He was a sub that came on in the first half, obviously.
Yeah, it was an interesting call for. I think all of us in the stand were trying to play, what the fuck are we going to do here? And then I don't think you and Henderson crossed any of our minds. We were looking at the players that were warming up, like none of these have been called back yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he just looks bereft of confidence. I don't know, because I don't think a spell in the team is actually going to be the best thing for him at the minute. I don't know if a loan spell would be good for him. He looks like he has lost all confidence. You can see it in his body language and the way he walks about.
He was struggled yesterday, really. There was a few things, like, again, credit where credit's due. There was a few things that he did do well, but just again, sort of usual for Henderson. Really breezed off the ball quite easily, and ultimately finds himself in good positions. Credit to him. That's what Henderson never shies away, but he's got a chance to put McGeady through, and just total misread of the situation. Things that straight away.
That wasn't a misread, mate. That was just a massive overhit. That was just
I thought McGeady was coming short, and he sort of pinged it. But it was just bad ultimately. But right, few different sort of any other bits of business here, I suppose. Tony Swanson says through Twitter, I actually found myself agreeing with the Sky Sports pundits, God forgive me, even Boyd. They can see the underlying trend at Easter Road. Why can't a lot of fans? Good result against Motherwell. If we get another result against United, is that a sign of recovery, or will it compromise the changes we need to see at the club? Recruitment and policy, etc. I'm not talking about just sacking a manager. I've not seen any of the Sky's coverage, but the tone of it, I'm assuming there was a lot made of our signings and stuff. Greg, I know you had a game, so you were watching on Sky. Did you see any of the pundit stuff before or after?
No, I seen Jimmy Murphy was on it and decided to pack up.
I
actually didn't see anything, but I caught the end of the first half on the way back from my game, and a bit of a worrying statistic is that I think they said in 5 of the last 7 games, Hibs have conceded 2 or more goals. Which brings me on to my next question. When do we start asking questions of David Marshall?
It's an interesting topic of conversation. It's probably good that you brought up when Liam wasn't on. David Marshall
and does what is saves to goals conceded ratio?
We were very critical of Matt Macy last year for a lot of things, distribution, etc. But David Marshall is on similar metrics, probably on everything other than distribution, performing equally as poorly. It's difficult though, because you look at the goals yesterday, right?
There's not a lot he can do.
Aye. So you look at the goals against Celtic, let's say, is how much he can do. Are we giving up perhaps a lot? Because I don't know, it's a stat that I don't really understand, but if I can recall right, last season our expected goals against was pretty much where we were at. Whereas, and I don't know what it's like this season, so I don't know if we're giving up a lot more opportunities this year, which obviously, good opportunities, but aye, Marshall after a good start, doesn't he feel like he's made a save for a while? You know what I mean? Like one who went, ooh, he made a decent save yesterday from a pop shot, but that, like, we always go back to it, but Marciano, you thought, or you could name 3 saves that he's made, and you went, oh, they're good saves, but I don't think that's been the case with Marshall for a while, out with the penalties against Livingston. Not the other two.
I was completely on board with Marshall until a certain frosted hair tip loser said that he's been incredible for Hibs. And ever since he said that, I've kind of been jury of it. And I'm joking. I like David Marshall. One thing I would like, it's difficult because for their first goal yesterday, it's not the keeper's fault, but I don't think Marshall's been particularly great in one-on-ones all season. Like it's difficult because it is almost a 50-50 to an extent, because it's either the striker's going to score, like if the keeper saves it, brilliant, and it's a great save, and you can't really knock him too much. But I don't think he's really had that X factor as such.
Yeah,
that's missing.
I think at the game yesterday, and Brian, I think you were in agreement. I thought Marshall should have been coming out and collecting it. Yeah. Haven't seen it. Back.
I was going to say that I think one-on-one is probably one of his weaker areas of his game. If you notice, the goal we conceded against Hearts, the third one, he was all over the place. And on a number of different occasions, he's been quite slow in coming off his line this season. I think it's probably one of his poorer areas.
Yeah,
I think it also needs to be caveated by, I think we're more exposed at the back at the moment.
Yeah.
And I think we're more exposed at the back, and I think maybe last year have played defensively better. I think under Maloney, we didn't really. I don't feel like under Maloney we really conceded a lot of goals.
I swear we drew every game 0-0 under Maloney.
we just didn't score any. Whereas with this season, I feel like we're conceding a lot.
Quite a big emphasis on trying to keep clean sheets and start from being defensively solid and then build on that as a foundation.
Right, another, I guess, negative point from yesterday. Kev's asked about this. So if Cadden's out injured, which Greg, I think you said they said in the commentary, it's a hamstring, which we know is probably 4 to 6 weeks. I don't know what to read into it, but I noticed he was walking out on the pitch at full time. But yeah, do we replace him with Megwa or change the shape? I'd personally start him against United. Look, for me, I think you need to do everything you can to keep the team as similar. I think 4-3-3 has produced our best stuff this season. The front three, none of them deserve to be moved. Midfield worked okay yesterday. But yeah, what do you do at right back? Sign one before Saturday.
Yeah, pretty much. I look, I've watched Megwa a few times. He's good. He is good. He's physical, but it's a big ask to chuck him in there. That's a really big ask. I don't like Cadden at right back. I don't like Will Fish at right back. So really, what do you do?
I thought Campbell done very well at right back, out with the goal. Well, ultimately.
But then at the same time, he's done things right, but then he's led to a goal. So,
is it likely that it's someone like Glenn Middleton that would be running at the fullback? And I don't think any of us are fans of Glenn Middleton, but a sort of pacey winger, experienced pacey winger. Is that the sort of opposition you would want to bring Mego in for his first sort of senior start, Ian?
I wouldn't be against putting Campbell in there from the start. I think, he did make a big error for the goal, but he's going to give you 100% for 90 minutes. He's going to work his socks off. He's neat enough and tidy enough on the ball. He puts his heart and soul into everything. So, but it probably wouldn't be an ideal game to throw a young laddie in for his debut. There's a lot riding on the game as well.
Did Josh Campbell play at right back or right wing back in pre-season, or have I made that up?
No, he did. I think he's played on both sides, actually. And I think managers trust him, and they know that he's very versatile, and he'll put everything into kind of adapting his game to wherever he's going to be playing.
Harry,
So I can see happening. I think he'll put Stevens at right back.
Could possibly.
Then
He
Chabraya from the
finished at
start.
right back, didn't he? So
But then I'm not really convinced with Chabraya at the moment. He looks fed up. He looks demotivated.
look, can we just call what it is? He's been one of our worst players this season when he's played. But like,
Yeah, no, but look at the circumstances.
no, I
I think it's
absolutely,
look,
but
I don't
like,
think it miles off it, but I think it can't be easy for him. Let's be honest. And I know it's his
obviously,
job, but
no, absolutely,
it just I don't know. I just yesterday I watched him closely and I felt like he just doesn't want to be on the pitch.
it just you can see it. He does look. Right,
Was it their second goal where he didn't even go up for the header and he took 2 steps back and just
That was
gave
just
up?
after the second goal, mate. They nearly fucking
All
scored.
right, so
Aye.
see that for me is a telltale sign that he's maybe not fancying it, which is a worry.
aye.
I think when you look at his form, even just post World Cup, or even let's take the game before it, gives away a sloppy penalty at Kelly. Come
And
back
then does the same against Livy.
is awful at Ibrox, to be honest. Does the same he does against Kelly when he comes off the bench against Livy. And then comes
All
up
right, boys.
with
Hibs won 3-2. Let's not bully this poor boy. He's been
but aye,
shite all
let's get
weekend.
back. Harry, I
move on
was
from
I
him.
was going to come to you. Kevin's question, obviously, but basically he says, "Would you start Megwa or change the shape? Would you be wanting to do everything you can to stay with a flat back four?"
I would first of all get rid of Will Fish. He's not there as cover. He's completely pointless.
Let's stop
Two
slagging.
stiff.
Let's stop slagging, boys.
Harry,
No, because
stop slagging players.
Chabraya could come good. Like no offense to Will Fish, but he's not seen as good enough to play for the club. He should if he's good enough to play for Hibs, he should come on at right back in his position yesterday. No questions asked. He
That's
shouldn't be
fair.
at the club anymore.
It was a
Do you know what, right? I was thinking about this during the week after the Hearts game, sort of middle of last week. I was thinking, why did we just brush under the carpet that he played 3 times for Stockport? Like, genuinely. Because I felt like we were like, he only played 3 times, but I was playing under circumstances. Well, the
Mate, I didn't even know he'd been on
shite.
loan somewhere else. I thought he just.
He's
I thought
absolutely dreadful. And do you know what? Man United just have loads of players and just chuck them about. And it's clear that he's not good enough.
Aye.
But yeah,
Well,
I feel
Back
like
to the question.
In answer to the question, I think we should start Meg one. I think that Campbell's been far too good at midfield to waste him at right back. I think Campbell being near him and able to support him and give that energy on the wing the whole game. Because the thing is, if we throw him in a situation that Cadden's been in, where he's in an isolated situation against 2 players, he's going to get bullied and all the Hibs fans are going to get on his back. But if we put him in a situation where he's got cover in the form of Campbell or Yuan, if Yuan decides to track back, then I think it's a fair situation to put him in it against Dundee United. But yeah, and the thing is, like, look at Josh Doig. Nobody expected him to be as good as he was. Like, Hibs took a chance on him, and look at where he is now.
No,
Like, I'm not saying Meg was going to be the next Doig, but I see value in giving youngsters a chance when there's opportunity for it.
well, I don't think Hibs took a chance. So.
How not? The boy was playing consistent football in League 2 in Scotland, and he became an instant starter for Hibs because he was good in pre-season.
Where's Megwa been playing in the development team? That's a chance. I don't think Josh Doig was a chance because we had a full pre-season to look at him. We're halfway through the season. I think it is a chance now if you play him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
If he played right back, I would want probably Campbell in front of him. And you probably
That's
wouldn't need to change his shape, but you'd have to put someone else in front of him that would actually track back and no Yuan, because I feel like Yuan would do track back.
I agreed, yeah.
You can't isolate the boy, and if he's playing alongside Rocky or Porto, then that's fine because they've been pretty decent at the back, I'd say, this year. So you can't leave him exposed though if you do play him. I do think it would be a risk to play him, especially against someone like Middleton, who he's probably not the best player in the world, but
I might know me Middleton. I was just absolutely
to be fair, Middleton played left mid for them yesterday.
Right. I think what I think is going to happen to answer Kevin's question is we'll go back to a 3-5-2 and Campbell will be a wing back. Which
Paul Hanlon's better in a 3-5-2, if I'm honest, on the left side.
That's what I think is going to happen, but it's not necessarily what I want to happen. Right, a few more questions, then we're going to get on to the Motherwell game. So, Graham, back to transfers here, actually. Where are the January additions to the player squad? What? Where are the January additions to the managers? And then I think you should put quote marks, 3 managers, players, squads. So basically saying where are the January signings? I don't know, mate.
Maybe lost in the post.
And
Yeah,
maybe-
sounds it.
Just in case he was asking Sahan about do we need to sign 3 players, right back, left back, centre midfield, please. Oh, and centre back, no, right back, left back, centre back. I'm not really sure what Graham's asking then. I'm sorry. Apologies, Graham. Right. Greg, your pal Sean, 2 questions here. Sorry, 1 question on this time. He's
Thank God.
What is your guys' favourite Hibs friendly you've been to? I don't need Greg's answer as it's Newcastle because he's a closet magpie.
Yeah, it's absolutely not. I hate Newcastle. Such a small club with
Yeah, can I
who
guess?
think they're big time because they've had a bit of money pumped into them.
Can I guess?
They've never
what
won a
yours
thing.
is?
What?
Is yours Bolton away?
Correct. What a day. What a day out that was. Superb.
I can honestly say I don't think I've got a favourite pre-season friendly.
Oh, Ryan, do you know yours? Because I'm saving the best till last.
I'm probably just going to go with one.
I can what Harry's
Recently.
is.
Mine's is just recent because it was after a time we'd all been shut in Arsenal last season.
Arsenal was good actually. Aye.
That was a fun one, to be fair.
Is Harry's East Fife away because he loves East Fife?
You're
more than
in
anyone
this.
else in
I
the
think
world?
you're in about the right area of the world. I believe, and again, let's see if I can get. Oh, I was going to say Arbroath away when Doidge missed the penalty because you talk.
That was a good one, to
all
be
the
fair.
time. Can I just say one that we get quite regularly that I quite enjoy. I do quite enjoy a wee trip over the water to East End Park. I do quite like that in pre-season.
I know Harry's Montrose.
No, Montrose was in his 5 game. I went there. That Arbroath one was class because Deutsch hit the world's worst penalty. Best away day ever in a friendly was Carlisle.
That was League Cup.
My God, what a day! 3-1 down, 1-4-3. Sensational.
Josh Campbell just scored a double.
scored.
Aye.
He did indeed. He scored the winner. Oh.
I never went to that. It was midweek, wasn't it?
Me and Craig drove. Honestly, it was just the
Class.
days where everything just goes right, man. It was unbelievable. Absolute scenes.
Everything goes right, but you're 3-1 down at one point.
Oh, and Ken, who I'm a big fan of, I think she's class. See that woman that goes about and dances at all the Hibs games and just has a
Mate, she sits not that far away from me at Easter Road, actually.
She was there giving it big licks in it. I was like, fair play. Honestly, if you're having fun at the football, that's what it's all about.
Right, last question. I've sent you this in the group chat earlier just to make sure my interpretation of this is right. So it's coming from you and Mick99. Based on the previous seasons, going back to 2014-15, the average points to avoid bottom 2 is 35 plus, and that's at the end of the season. To make the top 6 pre-split is 45 plus. How confident are you that we'll either avoid relegation or make the top 6 with 26 points and there's 12 games left? I'm firstly going to say I think 45 to make the top 6 is a bit. Last year, 40 points got in for 2 teams. 48 got 4th. So I said last week I think we'll get top 6. And I stick by that. I'm still pretty confident that we'll scrape our way into the top 6. I don't think it'll be resounding. I'm not sitting here saying after 1 win that we're now going to kick on and go on a massive run. The fixtures are kind in the league, but I'm pretty confident we'll make top 6. But that's what I said last week. Greg, what about you?
Nah, I'm not confident still. Like, I need to see more. To be honest, I need to see better defending for a start. I just think that we'll lose too many silly goals and we'll drop too many silly points as we've seen already this season. So, like, what are we? 4 points, 3 points off Aberdeen or something, and 4th. So, like, we're not a million miles away, but the way it's been going at the moment,
Comes and goes, isn't it? That's the After seeing Motherwell, though, are you a lot more confident of avoiding the bottom 2? They were.
Yeah, I mean they'd need some January window. Like, they're bad.
But they were really poor. Harry,
and
they still just about got a point, which sums it right up.
I kind of sounds really stupid, especially after how negative I've been. I think Hibs win the next 3 league games. I think that Dundee United at home's a good time to play them. I think they're still kind of finding their feet under the new manager, even though they have played a bit better. But I just don't think the Easter Road's the place for them to win. I think Aberdeen are still bad enough away from home. We win that, and I think Ross County look absolute garbage. So I think we'll beat them. I think we'll draw at best at against Hearts at Easter Road. I don't want to say what the result will be away, but I think Hibs will avoid relegation by the time we've won those 3 games, in my opinion.
Ryan.
Yeah, I agree with Harry there on what you said. I'd love to see us go on a run over the next 3 games and put some points on the board. It would make everything look a bit tastier and a bit more likely to be a top 6 finish for us.
That's where I'm at. Right, couple just quick ones. Just let's go through them quickly. Maybe a bit funner. Luke Cunningham, any superstitions for Hibs games? Me, no, not personally, and none for me.
Nah, none for me.
Just need to make sure that Shagger's got cans in the back of the car. It makes for an eventful afternoon. Like
some boy, man, some boy.
I know.
I've not got suspicions, but if I like
suspicions.
Suspicions. Oh, what superstition? Yeah. I used to. What do you got? Anytime I wear a item of Hibs clothing at a Hibs game and they lose, I won't wear it again. I've not worn a scarf since 5-1. If I wear a Hibs top and we lose whilst I'm at the game and I'm wearing that top, I'll not wear the top to a Hibs game again.
You must go through some power Hibs stuff.
No. Like I'll keep the top and I'll wear it in my like day to day and that, but I'll just not wear it against Easter Road or whatever.
Right. Okay. And then the last one, and this could be maybe I've seen as a lot. Oh, sorry, there's 2 more. How can we swap the Henderson brothers from Neil Henderson? A lot of bribery. No, look, don't want to pile in on you and Henderson, but Liam Henderson seems to be doing pretty well out in Italy, going under the radar. As he seems to have went under the radar the full time he's been out there, though, in terms of those that are pulling up trees.
I wonder if it's because he's playing for a wee bit more of a provincial club as opposed to one of the bigger hitters in the league. I mean, Lewis Ferguson's getting a lot of attention at the minute. Obviously, Aaron Hickey in the past and Josh Doig. Empoli aren't a massive club in terms of success there, so I wonder if it's kind of because of who he's playing for. But he has been very good whilst he's been out there.
They need to, get you and Henderson doing boxing or something. Like they need him to just take contact because he genuinely, I think the main problem is he just looks scared. Anytime he's on the ball, he looks like he just wants to be off it. And then there was a point yesterday, he was running down the wing and we all thought, come on, this is your chance to do something. And he literally shied away from the ball as soon as the boy slide tackled him. I'm not trying to dig him. I think it's a confidence. I still think there's a player there, even if he is playing badly. But I've never seen a boy look scared on a football pitch until Ewan Henderson yesterday. He literally looked horrified. It's a shame. You need a mentality shift pronto.
Right. Last question for now anyway. Archie Meldrum 75. It's on the direct to the football subject, Greg, you obviously brought up earlier. Who would you have ideally as direct to the football? Heard that John Park could be our man. There seems to be a lot of rumours kicking about John Park. I'll just go first and say I don't know. I don't know. John Park would probably tick quite a few boxes. But it should be a very rigorous process, and ultimately the best candidate gets the job. But John Park, Greg, is that someone that would, is that one you go, aye, okay?
Well, I know he knows the Scottish game. He's been around the Scottish game at a few clubs, so he knows what it's all about. He's experienced. He's probably got loads of contacts in the game. I think he probably ticks a lot of the boxes. And I would absolutely 100% want someone that knows the Scottish game to come in and do that job. I certainly wouldn't want anyone from the City group or whatever to come in with no Scottish football knowledge and take up that post. So for me, it would have to be someone with experience in the game, and he's got a lot of that, especially in Scotland. So yeah, I'd be more than happy with him.
Harry, Ryan, any particular names maybe spring to mind for you, or
a couple in the pipeline for me? I don't think it's going to happen now because he's back in management. But people had floated the idea of Tony Mowbray at the start of the season. I think the recruitment when he was here was really good. Gordon Strachan's a name that's been named.
That's made an absolute riot.
I know, but obviously it's a lot different spheres that he'd be working in.
He hired
another person. Pardon?
He hired Mark McGee.
But anyway, one more person. I'm just going to say this now because the question's not going to come up. One person I'd love to be affiliated with our club's Alan Burrows at Motherwell. We were chatting about it in the group chat the other day. He just seems like a top guy. The stuff that Motherwell are doing off the pitch, in my opinion, supersedes every other club in the country. They're a well-run club, and I think that ends up always filtering onto the pitch somehow. So Alan Burrows, come get poached, son. On you come. Go on.
Ryan, quickly, anyone for you?
Since hearing John Park's name, I'm 100% invested in what he could bring to the club. I'm not really interested in any other names that have been bandied about at the minute. As Greg says, especially somebody from the City groups that is going to treat it like it's almost a project, because I don't think we've got the backing or the funds that these other clubs have to be able to do that. John Park's got a great resume, good CV, good history with the club itself. I think he's more than proved himself when it comes to spotting talent. Yeah, I'd be happy. I'd be happy with him.
I think as well he's been a scout at big clubs.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
and obviously a scouting department. There's a lot to be desired. So yeah.
Right, let's move ahead to the Dundee United game. So we are back at home, ultimately. A place that we've not won it for a while. St Mirren at home. Harry, what do we need to see from the High?
What?
Was it no
We won our last home game.
Oh, mate, I'm talking.
Oh, no, one before that.
Sorry, we beat Levy. Sorry, my bad. Apologies. Anyway, what do we need to do to continue this winning run?
We need to keep on. We need to keep getting bodies in the box. It's something they'll get Kevin Nisbet in the box, I guess. One thing that I found really frustrating, especially at the start of the game yesterday, is we had our players doing well in the wing like McGeady and Yuan. Then there was nobody in the box from to aim at. I don't know if it's instructions or whatever, but as soon as we had Kevin Nisbet, in the box, he was scoring goals. Like the thing is, there's no point in playing with wide players if you're not going to pile bodies in for when you cross the ball. It's something we've been saying for years. Like, what's the point in relentlessly crossing if there's nobody on the end of it? Like, Cadden gets pelters for his crossing not being good enough. He puts good balls in, but there's nobody there to attack it. Like, get bodies forward, get bodies in the box, and actually attack a team. This Dundee United team aren't very good. That's why they're sitting second bottom of the league. Just attack the bastards.
Ryan, Dundee United at home. What are you expecting for the Hibs?
I'd quite like to see a convincing win, given that we've given ourselves a little bit of a platform now. We're on 3-0 away from home. I don't expect to see many changes to the team or the way that we play. I just hope that we can go out there with a bit of confidence and keep possession for longer spells and look less shit at the back when it comes to crosses and set pieces. I wouldn't mind seeing Joe Newell dropped at the team for a bit, but I can't see it happening. I just don't think he gives us anything at the minute other than giving away a lot of fouls.
I'm not normally a Joe Newell defender, but I actually thought defensively is quite sound yesterday. I thought it was one of his better performances off the ball, to be honest.
He finds himself on the ball a lot of the time, and he's got the opportunity to make a progressive pass, and he chooses to go backwards or sideways, especially when we're transitioning. But it slows everything down. But yeah, so maybe does have a purpose. I don't know.
The only memory I have of Joe Newell yesterday is, first half, he played an absolute 60-yard raker right on Ellie Yuan's foot. Another one getting his weekly pointless fucking booking on.
Because he couldn't control the football.
Boy sitting beside your lot, Harry, and behind me and Ryan, said, "How the fuck's he not had a suspension yet this season?" I was like,
probably had 3 yellow cards this season.
What?
3 yellow cards this season.
No.
Not even joking.
When
He got
never
booked,
picked
it
up
came
on it.
up 3. I don't know how he's managed that.
Jesus.
Must
Like,
already
boys,
been
boys,
suspended.
we all have a tangent. I'm not endorsing gambling or encouraging anyone to do so, but I've seen a new market that's got popular of fouls per game. Surely you could stick Joe Newell on for 3 fouls per game and just make absolute bank, because the odds on it were saucy.
Sounds good. Let's
So I
start a
just want to get that in
syndicate.
there, eh?
Take tenner on it every week and see how it goes.
Oh God.
Aye. That's wild, Greg. That's really thrown me. That's
No, it came up with 3.
Mad.
Very surprised.
What have he's had more
I mean,
than that?
to be
Derek
fair,
White
his
just
booking
hasn't
was
picked up on it.
stupid.
Aye, wasn't it?
All because he couldn't control it.
Aye. Confident before Saturday, Greg?
No.
Slightly
No,
more
we can't
confident.
defend.
Slightly more confident than Motherwell.
Slight. I watched Dundee United yesterday. I thought they were all they were very much going through the motions in the game, shall we say. They didn't really affect the game at all.
Happy to get beat 2-0.
It looked like it, but then again, this is Hibs. So if we can try and defend some cross balls, then we should be okay. But I don't know. I just feel like every time a ball goes in the box, the defenders are worried. They look concerned. I mean, we didn't even, for the second goal yesterday, we didn't even engage the first ball. Van Veen was able to take it down, and Hanlon didn't go and engage him or try and win the ball. He was happy to stand a couple of yards off him, which to me is unacceptable. And then Tierney gets a shot away. So I think we need to be more aggressive when balls are coming in the box. I think going forward, we look okay. We looked okay yesterday. I think McGeady added a bit, Yuan added a bit, and Nisbet in the box to score goals. So look, I think if we can defend properly, we'll be okay. But that is the big if.
Aye.
Because we've seen it all season where we just
I
seem to get
If
turned.
we can keep Nisbet, McGuinness, McGeady, Yuan, unfortunately, it looks like Kukarevich is going to be out for a period of time again, or an extended period. He never even came back, really, did he? And even like someone like Josh Campbell as well, then I think we've got more than enough in that team to score goals against the lesser teams in the league. If you want on that, maybe out with your Celtic, Rangers, Hearts, Aberdeens. I think we've got enough in the team to take care of the games that we should win. Maybe if you were to go back to Jack Ross, the games that we were winning under him. But the worry for me does come, you look at that bench yesterday, I'm like, I don't see goals on that, unfortunately. I know McCurdy and Melkerson are on there, but don't see goals. But I think the starting 11 right now is strong enough, and I'm pretty confident of 3 points on Saturday. Harry, can I get a score prediction?
Even though I think we'll win, it's not like out of a confidence thing. I think just with the way Johnson seems to be, like, even at the start of the season, we all thought we were really shit, and we went on that, like, was it 5-game win streak at one point?
4 games.
I just think we're going to do something similar, so I don't think it's going to be overly glamorous. I'd say 2-1 Hibs.
Right.
Arse clenching 2-1.
Greg.
Sweaty Dundee United Alamo for 45 minutes, 2-1.
Hibs.
2-1 Hibs, aye, but it's going to be like the Alamo, like proper name, just launching balls in.
I'm going to buck the trend. I'm going to say Hibs are going to keep a clean sheet. And it's going to be 2-0, but it's going to be against 10 men, so it won't count. And then, look, we're just going to wrap up now on one final question that's been sent in just nicely for Greg. He doesn't care, Greg, if he asks other podcasts.
I'm not answering it.
Harry, what do you have for your tea?
I'm just in London. I'm not actually done a food shop yet. So, John, I don't know what I'm for my tea. But one thing is, John supposedly was sat near us yesterday, and he said for a laugh he was going to walk up to us and ask us what we're having for dinner. And that would have made my day. That would have been so funny. Why did he not do it? John, next time, date you.
We're not intimidating our way.
I heard also, just Harry, I seen someone tweeted it and they must have deleted it straight away, so I don't know if they thought maybe it wasn't you. It was
Sam McManus.
It was it was like just out of curiosity, does Harry like Liam Kelly?
Mate, I got 2 DMs from different people just saying fuck Kelly. Just for context, when I go, like, I see football as my way to get my stresses out, so I'll just pick a target on the opposition team to, like, just non-stop abuse the whole game. And I was actual buckled because I started every single time Kelly got on the ball, I was just shouting abuse. Then at some point I just started booing, and by like the 5th time he touched the ball, the whole crowd was just booing Liam Kelly for no reason. I was like, that is peak. That is peak. Sensation.
Right. So we've got 3 2-1s, a 2-0. Harry's no kenning what he's having for dinner. Ryan?
I'm having barbecue pulled pork tonight. Yep, it's going to be good. It's going to be tasty.
Very nice. I just got made for me right before we came on here. Lauren called it chicken pizza, but she butterflied the chicken, covered it in like marinara sauce, a little bit of salami, mozzarella, made a rain potato wedges. It was fucking outstanding. A little bit of
She seen that on TikTok though, didn't she?
No, mate,
He's a keeper, like.
she says she's been making it for years, so
That sounds a
He's
TikTok
definitely a
one. to me.
keeper.
don't give a fuck about works for me.
Well, she's playing goals, Ryan.
Just to give everybody context, Ewan's definitely punching too.
I'm happy to admit that one, my man. I'm happy to admit. I'm not the only one, bro. I'm not the only one.
Aye.
Right. We'll be back on next Monday after Dundee United ahead of another derby, innit?
That's coming quick, isn't it?
Coming
Jesus.
in quick, innit? Just under 2 weeks away. Hopefully we'll have some more transfer activity, probably incomings and outgoings by that time as well. So, like I say, we'll be back next week on the back of another fingers crossed 3 points for the Hibs. Cheers.
Goodbye.